frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. To you who have been trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
Muting.
So, let's move on to this week's quiz.
Yeah, Ultima, I know that you can. I think I've got a 4-odd claw deck that doesn't even have an even Ivan in it, which is really weird.
Yeah.
My quizzes found rune tree quiz because I put Mr. No. Right, so this week's quiz is moving on to teams and which teams have the highest in the different formats. So efficiency, amber pit, so on and so forth. Litops has kind of got this down to a routine now where I eventually get on teams from here.
Yep.
Same standard as always, click on the screen or tap your screen on the phone to take part, and do please click the quiz kit there, manage access and let it be able to show your name so that you may answer questions in the quiz. Simple as.
Sorry for the yawn, everyone.
So the Hamburger Luncheons 3 have the highest average SAS of all three decks, but how high is it? 94.7, 79.7, 89.7 or 84.7? 94.7, 84.7, 89.7 or 79.7?
Well, given the fact there's an adaptive and a reversal, they're all fairly high.
A lot of teams like I will see will be getting Switch went for 3 decks that are significantly high in amber, and like we saw with the Hamburger Luncheons last week, they're significantly high now, with making their reversal options a lot more risky, but making the short adaptive and Archons a lot better, more in their favour.
Yeah. So
the correct answer is 89.7. 2 people went for that, and 2 people went for 84.7.
Well done. Right, let's move on to question 2.
Just waiting for it. Boom. Question 2. Repower has the highest efficiency, but how high is the average? 20, 24, 13 or 17? 20, 24, 13 or 17? How high is the average efficiency?
Or how high could people go to the KOTE directory and pull up this information?
That would be pretty interesting to see, and it'd be pretty cool to like have it all do a global, but we have Litops doing that.
Yeah. I didn't want to take too much out of Dex Keyforge.
Oh, Litops, before we move to the featured game, Litops has given us something for next week. This Thursday.
Oh, always. Okay, we'll come on to that after the quiz.
As always, a little bit late. Reveal the answer. So, one person went for 20, 3 people went for 17. The correct answer is 17.
Sorry.
So let's move on to question number 3. It's very warm in the UK right now, and a lot of us older generation are struggling to sleep.
With puppies, we don't want to sleep because it's too hot.
Moving on to question 3. DT Primus is the only rush team. How high is the highest average expected amber? So how high is the average expected amber? 18.6, 27.6, 21.6 or 24.6?
Just
how you get 0.6 of an amber? I don't know.
D20 Primus, not DT Primus, but yeah.
D20 Primus. So I did say I must have cut out because I was talking too fast.
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear my puppy in the background.
Ooh, so one person went for 27.6, one person went for 21.6, and one person went for 24.6. The correct answer is 27.6.
Shall we look at the scores, man, if we're halfway?
Yeah, you can look at the scores. So contestant number 4 is currently winning at 32.1. Ultimo is trailing behind at 14.8. Contestant 10 is at minus 7,000. This completely unknown JTRU55377. A little bit suspicious. Have no idea who that is. Coming in at minus 11,000, and Baraka coming in at minus 14.9.
Awesome, guys. Right, let's go on to the last 3. While Brett gets ready for that, let me just.
So, Team SAS LP are playing with a lot of creatures, but how many creatures in their 3 decks? 107, 87, 97, or 77? 107, 87, 97, or 77? That's a lot of creatures if you consider there's only 36 cards in the deck.
Yeah.
Is it even...
Yeah, it's possible.
36, 72, 100, and 108, yeah. For the top one for 170 to be correct, they literally have to have 1 card that wasn't a creature.
I'm sure that deck's like that.
I think 26 is the maximum you can get. 2 people went for 97, 2 people went for 77. Which doesn't debunk my 26 theory.
No, not at all.
Excellent.
Nope.
If you've got a deck that has more than 26 creatures, do let me know. But as far as I know, 26 is the maximum I've seen.
I'll write a script later.
Sloppy Labwork have got the most artifacts, but how many artifacts within their 3 decks? 10, 14, 18, or 24? This is BS because their captain is in the chat.
Well, he might be in the chat, but doesn't mean he knows all the decks.
This is Sloppy Labwork. They're the pinnacle of thorough research. Have you seen the photos of their lab testing?
Yes, he looks very comfortable. Their lab looked very comfortable on the hammer.
100%. One person went for 14, one person went for 24, 2 people went for 18. I'm going to check to see if Mr. Russell got that correct. Sending to players, show scores. Oh, look at that! Mr. Russell's the highest scoring person in the question.
But it still took him half the time to realise.
What a surprise. Contestant 4 hasn't changed score. I think they've just given up answering questions.
Well, then the lead. Do you blame them?
Ultimate question. JT Russell is back in the black. Mr. Kong coming in, going for Jupiter's golf record. And Baraka coming in at minus 13,000. Welcome, Mr. Kong. And the final question. ABR, Old Paddy's Evil Twins, one of the first featured teams, have the most Amber Pips, but how many total Amber Pips do they have among 3 decks? 35, 55, 65 or 45? 35, 55, 65 or 45?
35, 65, 55 or 45?
Red Panda saying that they could have had the title of most artifacts if they'd have chosen the Meta's artifact deck. I do like artifacts. When I was running my other tournaments before I came on to KOTE, the artifact king tournaments were some of the most popular because it's just a lot of fun.
Mm.
Hello, Christopher.
Hi, Christoph.
So, 2 people got this correct at 45, 1 person on 55, and 1 person on 35. I love to just bring jokes into that because I think jokes qualifies for 26 pips by itself. I showed that to Captain Kirk and he was just like, that Untamed is brutal. I was like, yes it is. Another total defeat.
Well,
this
you'll
is
get your
practice
practice
for the big quiz.
Oh, look at that score from Ultima. It's so close to catching up to number 4. JT Russell went down a bit to 3rd, but
JT Russell went down, but look at that. There's 400 points in that. Oh, that is brutal.
well done Ultima, well done contestant 4, well done everyone who thanks for playing.
I'm going to give the win to Ultimo unless contestant 4 speaks up.
Just tell us who you are. Is it Red Panda?
Triple shard only tournament. Well, luckily, Mr. Kong, if you want to join our Patreon at any level, including like the £2 one, you can suggest that as the KOTE 10 format, because our patrons are deciding the next format. We are outsourcing the format.
Just to be clear, we do reserve the right to keep a veto, and I will veto triple shard only. But apart from that, yes, come along and pay, and then we can veto it.
What if it was triad, but the decks had to contain a shard?
Well, that's different. That's fine.
Because then it's triple shards. Maybe it should be card focused. The main issue with that is it alienates new players who are players with smaller collections. If you say you need this specific card, it can alienate players. They say it must have a hunting witch. If you're a player that did not play in KOTE, you are going to struggle a lot more. I think the game is approaching, what, 3 years old now?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be quite hard to go, because I don't think there's one card that's in every set. Unless you count my Legacy Worlds Collide Bounce of Deathpork, then there's a card that's in every set.
Bad Penny.
No, because it turned to Bad Penny.
Urchin.
No, because it turns to Sea Urchin. The mutation, and Sea Urchin is a different character, because in Dark Tidings we've got Fuzzy Growing and Deep Sea Growing.
I will find one.
There are several there are several cards among all 4, but there are not that are in here. And that's why it's an interesting format. And if you want to become a patron at any tier and just suggest it, I'm sure the other patrons will be more than happy to have that chat, because I'm sure Mr. Russell will be able to easily trim this down into a workable format.
Yep. So we're going to move on now to the feature game, which is why you're here.
But before we do that, because you forgot, this week, Litops and Beginner Switch are doing La Premiere Lolly. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going for it. It is simply a Archon Best of 1 70 cap tournament with the usual ban of Jenka. However, there is a special card in play from the beginning of each game that has the same effect as First Scroll. After the player forges the key, each creature they control captures 1. There are AOA decks for the winner, for the person that has the most victories, but essentially each game you start with an artifact that is similar to First Scroll, which means that you have to, when you forge a key, any spare amber you have goes 1 each onto your creatures. So it's gonna be about playing a tight deck.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, like always, I really wish I could play more events, and the French one is one we always talk about, and just can never get the timing right because of my day job.
I think I'm taking a break from international events after how much of a farce it was getting prizes and stuff from the Polish stuff I did. Which it is here. It did get here.
Awesome. It's still my favourite game.
It's still nicely sealed.
Alright guys, let's now move on to the feature game, but before we do that, one last thing is there's a few teams, I think there's 9 teams remaining who haven't submitted their formats for round 4, the opponent's formats for round 4. If they have not done that by the time the reveal is due to happen, I will be randomly selecting them. And my randomly selection is not very random.
No, it's not. I had a look and I immediately called you out going, every team had the exact same decisions.
But you still can't argue it wasn't random. How do you I rolled a dice and everything.
If you're telling me your systems are both scrutiny, that makes it more sus.
Can't be more sus if it tried. Anyway guys, thank you to Mr. Russell for doing the deck analysis this week. Thank you so much for your time. As ever, we're always looking at the moment to get more people lined up to volunteer. I don't know if we have anyone for this week coming, so if you
we haven't got anyone set up.
So if you have 10, 15, or half an hour to produce a 15 minutes worth of video on the deck analysis for a feature game for next week, let Brett or I know. We'll be really grateful, and we'll give you a big shout out next week. So thanks, Mr. Russell, for your help.
If no one's come to me back in a couple of days, I'll reach out to some people because I'm sure there's a couple of people that wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of guys who know who'll do an odd one. So, all right.
Right. But getting Switch versus So Salty.